This edition of Close Up in Class looks at the minimum wage with our guest, Liz Chatterton, president of the Chatterton Group, a direct mail consulting firm. Liz has created messaging, strategy, and persuasion mail for presidential, congressional, legislative, and municipal races in 25 states. Liz has also appeared as a guest on CNN and the Fox News Network. Chris Ullman has run a D.C. office for a grassroots lobbying organization. She has served as legislative director for a U.S. senator and worked for the executive branch as Deputy Associate Attorney General in the Office of Legal Policy at the Department of Justice. Liz, should the government set a federal minimum wage?
Yes, I absolutely think the federal government should set a minimum wage. I also think it's important that each state also set its own minimum wage, with the federal government wage being the minimum, if you will, in that states can increase the federal minimum wage if they so choose, or they can leave it as it is. But I absolutely think that the federal government needs to establish a bare minimum, if you will, what is truly legal for people to be paid, and no less than that. It's part of the federal government's responsibility to ensure an adequate and equal standard of living for every American citizen, and establishing a federal minimum wage is an important part of that.
Up until 1938, the federal government did not have a minimum wage. Some states had tried to enact minimum wage laws, but the Supreme Court had struck them down, saying that that interfered with the worker and the boss negotiating their own wages. So they struck them down. It wasn't until the New Deal that we instituted a minimum wage. But why should we have a minimum wage? Christina Romer, who was on President Obama's Council of Economic Advisors, she wrote that one of the reasons a lot of people think we should have a minimum wage is that it is to protect workers. But what she even admitted was that competition among employers really helps the employees earn a minimum wage. It actually prevents businesses from misbehaving, from paying workers too little. And competition between businesses means that if everybody in town is paying $9 an hour and you only offer $8, you're not going to get good workers. So the competition in the free market actually works really well to guarantee a sort of minimum wage that's not set by the government. And then she says, well, maybe there's not enough competition. Company towns, maybe there's only one big employer. But she said that doesn't even really exist anymore. But what she said, the reason for having a minimum wage is for fairness and redistribution of wealth. That we as a nation are just not comfortable when some people work really hard and earn less than other people earn. And then some people are living either at poverty or slightly above poverty. So is that a good reason for the government to put in a minimum wage? That is a question. It's a moral question as well as an economic question. I would argue that that's not a very good reason, that the free market works better, but those are some of the reasons why people have argued for and against a minimum wage.